really having fun with that throttle. Drop, 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 drop. Because the bike like lurches. Which is great. Because when it was a stock 250, it wouldn't lurch like that. Not when you're already going like 40 something. Drop, 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 drop. Whew. It's cold. By the way, it's in the 30s outside. And it's May 4th. Ha! May the 4th be with you. Yes. Guy came into work today, had a Star Wars shirt on. I was like, is that for because it's May the 4th? And he's like, yes. And we high-fived each other. I was like, yeah. Star Wars nerds.
Hi, dog.
Hi, dog. Star Wars nerd, you know? Yes. Because he had a Star Wars shirt on and it's May 4th. May the 4th. And the guy's name was Luke. That's the coolest part. And he was a really cool guy. Who is driving this thing? I don't know who's driving it. That's a policeman. Should we flirt with him? Yeah, that's not flirting. That's waving. I know. Well, you know what? That's my flirting. I'll flirt with you too. Oh, you sneeze in your arm. Fine. Fine, fine, fine. So update. Obviously, I'm riding the KLX again. Yes, that's important. Laurie, how are you riding your KLX again? I thought you said you needed some parts for it. I did. I needed a pin to hold the front brake pads on. Changed the pads and didn't, the pin was needed to be drilled out, like tapped out, like it was like seized in there. So I ordered a new pin. It's a $6 part, and couldn't ride, but that came in earlier this week. I just haven't done any videos because we got snow. Freak snowstorm. Freak. Absolutely freaky. We got over an inch of snow. We had a snowball fight outside with a bunch of our customers. That was fun. I actually whipped the camera out for that. I may superimpose video here because all we're staring at is traffic. Superimpose video. Yeah. Snowball fight outside. Was fun. And that should not be happening on May 2nd, though. That was kind of crazy. But I had my bike back the day before that happened. So, put the new pins in. I mean, everything else was fine on the bike. I ran out of gas and had to push it to work. That was hysterical. Boss pulls up in his truck next to me at a light, about a block and a half away, and he's like, "Are you pushing that thing again?" He's like teasing me because, you know, I'm always braking this poor KLX. I was like, no, it's just out of gas, and I didn't want to push it back uphill to the gas station when I was almost to work. I was like a half mile away, you know, and yeah, what's the point in pushing it to work when it's downhill to work and I could just buy a gallon of gas at work because we got the gas in bulk. Now it's more expensive than buying it at the gas station, but I'm only buying a gallon of it, so it cost me, what, 20 cents more? What's the big deal in 20 cents? You know, that's not a lot. So, not really. Not worth pushing the bike back uphill to the gas station. Heck no. I'm gonna go goof around to behind Target with you guys. Should we go up and down those stairs? Yes, we should, but are we going to? No. Why? Because I'm a wussy pee pants. That's why. Well, that looks inviting. Oh, there's a fence there. Poop on a stick. Wow, this would be great for parkour. Look at this. Railings and stairs and stuff. Look at that. Fire door, do not block. I could just ride up there and jump off that dock. Yeah, we could. That's a stop sign. I don't want to stop. We're not stopping. There's no crying in baseball. You want to see hard throttle on a low in second gear on a KLX 330? Okay, I'll show that to you. I don't remember what I was talking about, but I will show you that. Ready? I'm going to cover the rear brake. We'll just go in circles. See if we can turn around in 2 parking spaces. Remember this test? I don't know how the hell we did that. Oh, heck no. Oh, I did it. I did it. I stayed in the box. I swear I did. Oh, it's hard with the motard because it's so tall and awkward. And I totally did it. Feet on the pegs. I Clearly worked a long day. Can you tell? Can you tell that Laurie Jennifer is tired? She's riding around aimlessly. What gear am I in first? First is a fun gear. Let's go have fun in first gear. We'll have fun once, and then we better go actually into Target. I have to buy some cleaning supplies. I'm going to do some housework, spring cleaning this weekend. Alright, ready? First gear to second gear. Will it power up? No. Not unless you snap the throttle and you bounce into it and pull, lean back, you know. Then yes, it will power up in first, but you'll top out at like 20 miles an hour. What fun is that? And that's with a 14-tooth sprocket. I could put a 13-tooth sprocket on there, and that would be more amazing. But I don't really. That would make first gear, like I'd start to go and have to shift, because it would top out at like 15 miles an hour. That's kind of silly. Great for off-roading though, I'll tell you what. Second gear is actually very, very tall on this bike. First gear is very, very short. It's geared weird. It is definitely geared weird. Anyway, what was I saying about this bike? Oh, the ER6N. Yeah, so the cooling failure. I go home, I park, and all the coolant... reviewing the riding footage, because I recorded most of the ride from Kewanee, Illinois, all the way to Kansas City. And I noticed towards the end that the warning light for overheating came on a couple of times while I was riding. I didn't notice it, because I don't look down that often at my instruments, because I expect the bike to be working fine. But it wasn't. And I didn't catch it till I got home and parked it. And then it was like, yeah, I told you I was overheating. I'm gonna puke coolant all over the driveway. Listen to me next time, man. I told you I was sick. You should have pulled over. So that's what I get. So the thermostat and all that came on Friday, yesterday. What was I saying? Thermostat came, radiator cap. So I'm going to, this weekend, probably this weekend, flush the coolant, flush the cooling system with water. I never did get my hands on a pressure tester for the cooling system, so I'm not going to pressure test it. Max it's supposed to hold is 25 pounds, but I don't have a tester, and I don't really want to go through all that distance of trying to find one, so we're not going to. So I'm going to pressure test it at some other time if it needs it. It may not need it, because there's other ways you can kind of see if it's leaking. Oh, I'm also doing an oil change at the same time, because you may as well do that. So I can check the oil, smell the oil, see what it looks like. Check the coolant, see what the coolant looks like. I'm going to put engine ice in it, obviously, because that'll help it run a little cooler. I'm going to go ahead and just replace the thermostat. The thermostat's a pain to try to get to, so if you're going to go through all the rigmarole of pulling it to test it, it's like a $12 part. Just put a new one in there. So I bought that, and I bought a new O-ring for it as well, just in case. I also bought a new, the reservoir actually has its own O-ring that's supposed to be for its own sealer for the cap, and I bought an extra one of those. And I bought a water pump gasket, a water pump cover gasket, just so that the drain on the ER6N or the Ninja 650 is actually the bottom bolt on that. But you don't really want to hear a girl talk about boring stuff, so that's the drain for draining your coolant. But I think I'm going to just go ahead and take the whole cover off and physically look at the water pump, make sure there's not something stuck in there or gross or corroded or whatever. And since I'm planning on taking the whole thing off, I went ahead and just got a gasket for it, because I'm not just going to take that one drain bolt out. I'm going to take all the bolts out, take the whole thing off, and just kind of look. Sometimes you just got to look at it. So I'm going to look at it. And then I'm going to, after I flush it, I'm going to put in the new thermostat and the new radiator cap. And then we're going to see how it does. And if it's still all sucky face, then I'm going to look at the fan. I'm going to listen for the fan to come on. I'm going to watch the coolant levels, and I'm going to keep an eye on the oil after I've run it, because I will have just put new oil in, so it should still look new. And I'm going to, what else am I going to do? Why did I come back here? I don't know. I'm going to put the new oil in, and new coolant. I'm going to run it. Oh, I'm going to watch the exhaust and see smell that you'll smell the bike. Now, it's also just leaked a bunch, so that, unless I'm going to have to wash it really good before I run it. But I'm going to watch the exhaust for it. There's a whole bunch of white smoke, which there was before, and it bothered me, and I didn't think it smelled right. And that was when I left it in Chicago, and so that's why Suburban Rider came over. We did the video where I changed my oil, and the oil looked fine. I mean, we both looked at it. There was no coolant in the oil or anything. But it was a lot of smoke, like a lot of white smoke, and I mentioned it on Facebook, and how I was kind of freaked out by it. And then this happened when I got home, so I wonder if I don't have a bad head gasket, or a bad water pump gasket. But that would be the water pump seal, actually, not the gasket for the cover, but the seal behind it. And I didn't order one of those, because that's a pain to, you have to leave the bike in gear, and that's a pain to get that thing out. So I didn't grab one of those. But I wonder if it's not leaking coolant into the system through either of those. I wonder. I hope it's not. That would suck. Head gasket would definitely suck. Although I can replace that myself. It's not really a big deal, except you got to take the top end off to freaking stupid. Anyway, I've just driven very slowly around the parking lot here and talked about. Oh, and Dodge Rider's coming over tomorrow. We're gonna work on this bike. I'm gonna finally put on my header pipe that I bought like a month and a half ago. We're gonna kind of play around with the carburetor a little bit, and because I'll have to retune it, obviously. And we're gonna play around with the carburetor, put the header pipe on. I think there was something else, and I don't remember what it was. I think that was pretty much it. This bike does need a new front rotor because it's warped. That's why it goes whoop, 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 whoop when you're riding, because it's the warped part of the rotor. And I'm hoping it's not the wheel bearings, but I'll be putting on the spring tires here soon. It's May. Surely the snow is over now, but I thought that a while ago when we just got a bunch of snow on Thursday. So it melted already because it's May. We shouldn't have snow, period. We shouldn't have snow that has to melt. Now there's salt all over the roads all over again, and that all washed away, and I had to wash it away again. So anyway, we'll go around this way. The bike is like, thank you for letting me breathe. This one, I've noticed, I've never heard the fan come on. And I don't think the fan works. Because even riding around like that, and the bike gets hot. I've run engine ice in this thing, though, for the last couple of years. But it gets hot. And the fan, I've never heard the fan come on. I almost want to pull the relay for it and check. Make sure it's working. But yes, oil changes all around, and that's a really stupid, what the crap are you doing? Why don't you just pull in and turn around like a normal person? Look at this big pothole. What would I do if I was on a sport bike? I don't know. Not that. That was a really big... That was up past the rim of my wheel. Okay, look both ways. Excellent. Alright. That works. We'll just park here. Oh, you should of something. You can't! That is physically impossible! I'm gonna of this. What? Of. You could have.